if you trade supply and demand, you need to understand the difference between A and C setups because if you can't, you won't be able to spot the high probability supply and demand zones. So first off, what I want to explain is the lower grade setups so you can actually identify the good setups. So I'll show you all the criteria you need to know and all the bad things, all the good things, so you can spot those high probability trades. So for example, right here, I have a supply zone. Now, the reason this is not an A plus setup is first of all, you need to have clear trend. Now, this is one of the most important, this is the most important factor you need. If you are not in trend, it lowers your grade by, I don't know, if it's a A plus setup, structure is really clean, but you are not in trend, then it's not that clean. All right, it goes down to B. It's just not that good. But this setup right here, now what happens? What happens here? We swept this liquidity right here, and then we dropped all the way down. And overall, let's use the replay mode. And if I go on the 4-hour, we are starting to go bearish. As you can see, we just took out this major low. We are failing to break highs. Well, we just swept this liquidity and went down. And we also, while the way down, we took out these lows and consistently taking out lows. Now, the reason this trade is not A plus is, first of all, we are reacting from a very strong area of a demand zone all the way back here. That is a very strong criteria. Second of all, we are reacting from some key levels. As you can see, this key level right here, this key level right here, these are not very strong, but it's still around that area, and so on. Well, I can still go on the 30-minute. This is not very strong, it just went past it. But other than that, there's nothing really here. So that is very important. Second of all, you don't have a very strong push down. Like as you guys can see, we came down. All right, let me just draw the zone right. We came down, right? And then we came up, we tapped the zone, but this is not tapped because we don't have any bullish candles in between. But still, we need to have very strong movement. And as you can see, we also had a fair value gap right in the middle. But price came up, filled it in, and then went back down. Now, obviously, this trade did win, as you guys saw before, just like this. But is it like worth taking these setups if you know for a high probability these are not going to win? Obviously not. This might have been lucky, this might have been some fundamentals, it could have just lost, whatever. This is not fear of missing out if you take trades to your rules. And this is the rules I'm telling you. You need to have a clean liquidity. In this case, you actually do have a clean level liquidity, but all the criteria in this trade, first of all, trend, you're reacting from key levels, you're reacting from a demand zone, didn't have a strong push down, and believe this might be even been news. Now, I would grade this setup B minus, but now let me show you an actual A plus setups and other setups. Now, actually, to be honest, I just found a accuracy zone setup right here as well. Now, obviously, this is another example of where the trade is not well. First of all, you had a very weak breaker structure of just a wick, which might have been even news, which took out this high with just a very small amount, again, like a liquidity sweep. Now, price did come back, react from the zone again. So it means the zone is pretty strong. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 taps inside the zone. And then once it tapped the last time right here, it just pushed all the way up. So I would rate that setup about like a B minus or even a C plus setup. So you need to identify those high probability setups. Now, once again, I found another setup right here. And again, this is not an A plus setups. And the reason for that, well, I just want to say beforehand that all these trades win, but they have a high probability of losing. I found another setup right here. Okay, actually, I don't know why I'm finding so many setups, but the reasoning behind this trade is not even that bad, to be fair, because we just took out these lows. We are coming from another supply zone all the way up here, as you guys can see, just like this. And also, there's nothing really major we are reacting from. But again, this zone is part of a fully straight move. So there's no actual orders here. We were disrespecting demands. And again, this trade has a weak breaker structure right here. So not really that strong. And Good reaction though, and they won off the zone. And this trade as well, this is a little bit more nice just because we we can consider this as our liquidity, this and also this, and it did broke out with the body right here, well with the wick, but it was a major, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wicks. And again, this one it broke as well. So this I might have actually even taken live. I would rate that probably like B plus, maybe even A minus, just because we are acting from supplies, we are disrespecting demands. We have a good, very strong move just before this. It's a top zone, and it has a lot of liquidity sitting here and a good reaction as well. So that's the reasoning behind this. But now let me try to find an absolute A plus setup. I think I might have found another setup. I can't lie, I just went on a random time, found a setup, and now I'm finding setups like crazy. So the reasoning behind this trade, again, it's not an A plus setup. Now again, this did win, so it might not be the best lesson on this video because all these trades are actually winning, but I just want to give you a clear idea that I'd rather go for 3 setups a month and take only A plus setups and still make 10% rather than take like 10 trades, win, I don't know, 3 of them and lose 7 of them, and then, you know, stay in profit 10%. You know, I'd rather win all of the trades and feel like I'm on a winning streak than just take 10 trades, lose 7, win 3, and end up with 10%, because obviously we are trading a high risk reward trades. But again, let me talk about this trade. Now, the reason this trade is obviously, this might even be worse grade because, first of all, liquidity. Liquidity is extremely weak in this case. We just had a few bearish candles. It's not actual liquidity, decent liquidity. Obviously, for this structured trade, I'd like to see a bigger liquidity. And these over here are a bit too far. Obviously, before we tapped the zone, we had some consolidation as well. So I'd rate that C plus, something like that. So that's not a very strong zone. But now let me finally try to find you an A plus setup so you know exactly what to look for, the exact criteria I look for, and trades okay, for now you know the trades you should avoid. Obviously these one might have been just luck, might have been news, or might have just been, I don't know, like skill set or just the markets. But again, like I'm saying, you need to go for those A plus setups or even A minus, B plus, or that. But now let me actually try to find you an A plus setups so you know exactly what to look for. All right, so I have an A plus setup right here, and as you can see, you might already be thinking this is not even in trend. Yes, it is not even in trend, but that's why you need to identify trend shifts. All right, very, very important. Now, let me try to explain the trade. First of all, you have liquidity here, breaker structures, breaker structures. You have a clean, very strong move just before your demand was creating. Decent liquidity, good breaker structures. You also had a, like basically a fake out for normal supply and demand traders right here. And then also you broke out every single high before coming to the zone, and then just a few candles right here, very good entry. It was getting pretty late in the day, but it was still a trade. I even took this level as well, and we also disrespected the supply here. We also had all these fair value gaps. We have all this move to correct, and this is exactly what we did. And yeah, and so we are reacting from a pretty strong area as well. All this move over here. Now we don't have any taps here, but we have a very major one right here and a very major one right here. These are small ones. This is very major as well. And let's see if we got led very much taps over here as well, and so on and so on. So again, this is an A plus setup. For example, let me find it where this is straight right here. And again, I have another example of an A plus setup right over here. Now, yes, we did fail to break this high, but you can't expect the price to just move like this and just break highs like that. Obviously, we need a retracement and then move up again. Exactly what it did here. This decent liquidity. Maybe not. Maybe the zone could have had more consolidation behind it. For example, like this. It did something like this, and it came here, and then it created a zone and had this strong push up, created liquidity, and it came to the zone. That would have been nice. That's another A plus setup. For example, another A plus setup right here. And I think there was this another A plus setup. Now this is just maybe not look A plus setup for you because the structure to the zone, But for me, I've seen so many trades win like this before. So it is, and it also reacted, let's say this was 6th of March. It reacted from the same demands on GBPJPY. So I would rather choose the GBPJPY trade. As you can see, well, this was 4th of March, but it looks completely similar. We just took out all the highs to the left. Well, actually, this is an A plus setup as well. We have multiple levels of liquidity, fake out for normal supply and demand traders. Direction to zone might have been better, but we took out this last high to the left as well. Into all this move, took out all these highs, and then boom, straight to TP. So hopefully this quick video teaches you the difference between C setups and A plus setups. If you have any questions, so I just want to quickly say I've launched a VIP Discord as well. I've actually just created a free trading journal in there, better than Traders Casa. I can review all your trades, and I also got a weekly market review coming up in 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go to that as well. Other than that, it was a quick video to just give you guys some information because I haven't posted in a while, and that's about it for the video. Thank you for watching.